Welcome back to the C Files, folks. Thanks for watching. Thank you for joining me. And please don't forget to like and subscribe in the like and subscribe section down there. Um, I just finished 3 videos of a devotion time where I go through various passages in the Bible and talk about them. I have a quick question. Since this is a Christian reads the Quran, for the Muslims that watch this particular series. My question is this. I am taking the time to read the Quran and to try to give as honest an understanding of it as I can, and allowing you guys to come into the comment section and give your information on your study in the Quran. My question to you is this. If I'm willing to do this, how many of you are willing to pick up a Bible and read it? If I'm willing to go to the primary source of your religion and read it, are you willing to go to the primary source of Christianity and read it? Are you willing to examine it? Are you willing to take a look at it? Or do you feel like or are you taught that that's forbidden? If you're not willing, or if you feel forbidden from picking up a Bible and reading it, then my question is this. How do you know I am wrong in my belief as a Christian if you never examine the primary source of Christianity? That's my question. All right. Now let's go to we were in Surah 6. We're trying to make our way through Surah 6. I don't know that we'll finish it up we won't be able to finish it up this reading. How much further? We got a ways to go in Surah 6. We're probably in Surah 6 for, wait, that's 9. I jumped. How far does this go? Oh, well, not as far as I thought. And 7's a lot shorter. Anyway, the point is, I don't think I can make it through this reading, but maybe in 2, maybe 3 readings, I could get into 7. All right. I will begin with 74. I think I finished page 70 the last time I was reading, and I'm in page 71. And Surah 6 or chapter 6 is Cattle al-Anam. And I'll begin on verse 74, where it talks about Abraham. And there's 3 footnotes, so I'll try not to miss those. So Abraham corrects his father. And as you know, you guys, the Muslims know this, but for the sake of the Christians, the Clear Quran translation, you can see, I don't know if I can get it on here, right here, these titles, they're not a part of the original words of the Quran. These are what the translator put in to help people like me understand what that particular passage is talking about. So the title is Abraham corrects his father. And remember when Abraham said to his father, Azar, do you take idols as gods? Now, I don't remember that. That's not recorded in the Bible. This is a claim of the Quran that I don't know. I've never read it in the Bible. I've never read it in Genesis. It is clear to me that you and your people are entirely misguided. So Abraham just came to this conclusion himself, and at the time that he separated from his family and did not see them again after that, he was not called Abraham. He was called Abram. He was not called Abraham until Isaac was born. Even when Ishmael was born, he was still called Abram. You got to go read Genesis. I'm telling you, got to go read the Bible. Read Genesis and see if it lines up with this. All right, Abraham refutes celestial worship. By the way, he's right that idol worship is wrong. I agree with that. I'm not disagreeing with the premise of this. I'm just saying the details are suspect. Now, Abraham refutes celestial worship. Well, yeah, I agree. 75. Well, he also showed Abraham the wonders of the heavens and the earth, so he would be sure in faith. God in Genesis chapter 15, and I just read it tonight, or read it not tonight, but last night. Um, so look at the stars of heaven. Your descendants will be like the stars of the heaven. There'll be so many of them. You'll be the father of many nations, and you'll be the father of a particular nation that will bring forth the son of promise, the Messiah. But this says we also showed Abraham the wonders of the heavens and the earth, so he would be sure in faith. No, it was the Abrahamic covenant. He was already sure in his faith. God had already said Abraham believed God, and God counted it unto him for righteousness before even showing him the stars. When the night grew dark, this is 76, when the night grew dark upon him, he saw a star and said, "This is my Lord." I'm going to let it continue reading because there may be an explanation here. But when it set, he said, "I do not love things that set." Well, would that not make God an idolater to say something I mean, not God, would that not make Abraham an idolater to say something like that? Looking at a star and saying, "This is my Lord," and then saying, "Oh, well, it said, I don't love things that set." Wasn't the whole point that Abraham had rejected the worship of nature in the heavens in the previous verse? Why, why would this be in the Quran? Then when he saw the moon rising, he said, "This one is my Lord." Is this I don't know. The only way, don't, if I were to defend this, the only way I could defend it would be say, well, this was before God had called him and he was still with his family and they were worshiping nature. This was before he was called out by the Lord. That's the only way this could be an explanation. But where in ancient writings does it say Abraham said any of this? Where are the ancient writings that coincide with this? Then you could say, well, this is straight. God wrote this, and it's straight from heaven. And if God wrote this straight from heaven and gave it to Muhammad, and then it was oral tradition, and then written down, 150 years later into a book, then that's what happened. Okay. What are you going to say to Mormons who tell you that Joseph Smith received direct from God the golden tablets that had the Book of Mormon on it? And they are the words of God because God wrote it and gave it direct to Joseph Smith. Another testament of Christ. What are you going to say to him if that's your argument? What are you going to say to that Mormon if that's your argument? He's making exactly the same argument you're making as a Muslim. So how are you going to refute him if you're making exactly the same argument he is making? Then when he saw the moon rising, he said, this one is my Lord. But when it disappeared, he said, if my Lord does not guide me, I will certainly be one of the misguided people. Abraham said that before God called him, or was this something that the Quran is claiming happened after God called Abraham? Abraham wasn't looking for God when God called him, according to the book of Genesis. Then, when he saw the sun shining, he said, this must be my Lord. It is the greatest. But again, when it set, he declared, O my people, I totally reject whatever you associate with God in worship. I have turned my face towards the one who has originated the heavens and the earth, being upright, and I am not one of the polytheists. So this makes it sound like Abraham's reasoning in his head, and he's coming up with these conclusions on his own. Where is the divine revelation from God to Abraham in that? Abraham debates his people, and his people argued with him. He responded, what people? Abraham had his wife Sarai, or Abram had his wife Sarai, and he wasn't called it. I don't know at what point. Well, maybe this is after he was called Abraham and she was called Sarah. I don't know. It's not giving me a time period here, but let's say it was after he was called Abraham and she was called Sarah. He had her and he had his servants. He didn't have a nation. He didn't have a people. He wasn't a king. He was a nomad traveling through the wilderness. And his people argued with him, what, his servants? He responded, are you arguing with me about God while he has guided me? I am not afraid of whatever idols you associate with him. None can harm me unless my Lord so wills. My Lord encompasses everything in his knowledge. Will you not be mindful? Now, I agree with the premise that God is separate from the universe he created. I agree with the premise taught that's in here that God is sovereign and that God is omnipresent and omnipotent and omniscient. I agree with that. And how should I fear your associate gods while you have no fear in associating others with God, a practice he has never authorized? Which side has more right to security? The security that Abraham had was God himself. I mean, if you look at him when he went to Egypt and Pharaoh admired Sarah and Abraham said, "Oh, she's my sister," because she was his half sister. And Pharaoh took her, and God struck Pharaoh. God gave Pharaoh a dream or something. I think it was a dream. And Pharaoh was startled and rebuked Abraham, gave Sarah back, and gave him all these riches to travel with. God did that. Abraham never was authorized to fight the king of Pharaoh or anything, or to have his own security. What security would he have as a nomad with some servants traveling around the desert? Which side has more right to security? Tell me if you really know. Shows you the mindset of this, how it's always about wars. And I mean, this is what I'm getting out of the Quran. It's always about wars and always about, well, the God's on our side. He's going to fight with us, and he's going to take down all the unbelievers, the infidels, and war against the infidels. And I mean, this is what I'm sorry, guys, this is what I'm seeing here as I'm reading. You're saying, but that's not, look, the totality of what I have read so far leads me in that direction. Not only this, not just this passage alone, but in connection with the other passages I've been reading as well. Tell me if you really know. It is only those who are faithful and do not tarnish their faith with falsehood, who are guaranteed security and are rightly guided. Guaranteed security. What does that mean in the 7th century? I know what it means today, having a bunch of security guards around you guarding you because you're some celebrity or something and you've had death threats or something like that. You're guaranteed security because you pay for it. What did that mean in the 7th century? In the Bible, it talks about trusting God, and God took care of Abraham. But this human concept of security, I don't see it in Genesis. This was the argument we gave Abraham against his people. We elevate in rank whoever we please. Surely your Lord is all wise, all knowing. All right. Abraham and other noble prophets. We'll try to read through a little bit quicker. 84. Let me make sure I didn't miss any footnotes because I'm seeing footnotes there, but I'm not seeing the numbers of the footnotes in the text yet. I just want to make sure. I want to do it justice, and I don't want to miss anything. And I am not. Okay, here's 278. Yeah. So 278 is connected to this statement. It's connected to 82, verse 82. It is only those who are faithful and do not tarnish their faith with falsehood, who are guaranteed security and are rightly guided. And 278 says, for example, associating false gods and worship with the Almighty. Okay. 84. And we blessed him with Isaac and Jacob. Okay. We guided them all as we previously guided Noah and those among his descendants. David, Solomon, Job, Joseph, Moses, and Aaron. This is how we reward the good doers. The good doers. Human good, human works, human righteousness, good doers. The thing that disturbs me about that term is that it's giving man the glory rather than God the glory. This is how we reward the good doers, which glorifies man. If I'm a good doer, I'm glorified, not God. By my own ability, by my own efforts to do good, I'm a good doer. Therefore, I am glorified for that. How's God glorified? Likewise, we guided Zechariah, John, Jesus, and Elias, who were all of the righteous. What makes them righteous? What makes Noah, David, Solomon, Job, Joseph, Moses, Aaron, Zechariah, John, Jesus, and Elias, what makes them righteous? And it's interesting, you put Jesus in with these other mortal men. I know what makes Jesus righteous. Let me read it to you. I'll come back to this. Go to the Gospel of John. This one's for the Christians. I know, and Muslims who have eyes to see and ears to hear. Don't you know I would die for Muslims who have eyes to see and ears to hear? So if it would bring them to the knowledge of Christ and the gospel, would you do the same for me? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word, was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made that was made. Who created the world? God did. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shines in the darkness, and darkness did not comprehend it. Now he's going to talk about John the Baptist. Well, he just talked about the Word being a person, God, and that person, that being, God, create the heavens and the earth, create the universe, and brought light into the world. Now he's going to go to John the Baptist. Watch what happens. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. This came, this man came for a witness to bear witness of the light. What light? The light that's mentioned in verse 5 where it says, and the light shines in darkness, and darkness did not comprehend it. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. That light, the him that is the light, that is the word that created the world. That light. John's bearing witness to that light. This man came for a witness to bear witness of the light, that all through him might believe. Believe what? He was not that light, but he was sent to bear witness of that light. That was the true light. Remember, the light is God who created the heavens and the earth and brought light into the world, right? That was the true light, which gives light to every man coming into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made through him. He was in the world, and the world was made through him. He made the world and then entered the world, and the world did not know him. And when he entered the world, they didn't know him. He came to his own, and his own did not receive him. That'd be Israel. But as many as receive him, to him he gave the right to become the children of God. To those who believe in his name. Uh-oh. What name? Who were born not of blood, being in the lineage of Abraham didn't save them, nor the will of the flesh. This flesh isn't going to get us to salvation, nor of the will of man. The free will of man doesn't get them. No man can get to salvation through his own free will, but of God. God brings us to salvation. This is the key verse 14. And the Word became flesh. The Creator, the light that entered the world, that created all things, that entered into the world, took on flesh. The Word was God, who took on flesh. Verse 14. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. He had the same glory as the Father. This is talking about Jesus Christ. The same Jesus we just read about in the Quran. Only the Jesus in the Quran is merely a prophet. The Jesus in the Bible is the eternal Word of God, God Himself, who entered into the world, took on human flesh, and dwelt among us. The Jesus in the Quran is not the same Jesus that's in the Bible. Two different Jesuses. Psalm 22, Isaiah 53, Psalm 45. I mean, I can go through the list of prophecies about the Word that entered the world and became flesh. Will you pick up a Bible and read it like as I have picked up the Quran to read it? That's my challenge to you. I don't need lectures on the Quran. I'm reading it. You don't need lectures on the Bible if you'll just go read it. This is God's guidance with which he guides whoever he wills of his servants. Had they associated others with him in worship, their good deeds would have been wasted. Am I off on the wrong side here? Oh, I may have been. Okay, I was up above. Let me go. Oh, I was on. Let me take it from 84 down and just read through because I think I confused everybody by jumping a little bit ahead here. So let me get context the same way I would in the Bible. I'd get the grammatical context that's going on. So let me do that here. I want to be fair to it. And we blessed him with Isaac and Jacob. We guided them all as we previously guided Noah and those among the descendants, David, Solomon, Job, Joseph, Moses, and Aaron. This is how we reward the do-gooders, or the good doers, I meant to say. Likewise, we guided Zechariah, John, Jesus, and Elias, who were all of the righteous. Remember, this is the Quran's Jesus, not the Bible's Jesus, a different Jesus. We also guided Ishmael, Elisha, Jonah, and Lot, favoring each over other people of their time. And we favored some of their forefathers, their descendants, and their brothers. We chose them and guided them to the straight path. And this is prophetic guidance. This is God's guidance with which he guides whoever he wills of his servants. Had they associated others with him in worship, their good deeds would have been wasted. Those were the ones to whom we gave the scripture, wisdom and prophethood. But if these pagans disbelieve in this message, the message of the Quran, excuse me, then we have already entrusted it to a people who will never disbelieve in it. These prophets were rightly guided by God. It's calling Jesus a prophet and nothing more. These prophets were rightly guided by God, so follow their guidance. Say, I ask no reward of you for this Quran. It is reminded to the whole world. It is a reminder to the whole world, excuse me. All right. So it's clear what it's saying here. Jesus is no different than the other prophets. He's the same as them. He's just a human that was a prophet according to the Quran. He was not the eternal the eternal word, excuse me, that created the world and then entered the world and took on flesh and had the same glory as the Father, as John chapter 1 says. The Quran does not teach that, and as a matter of fact, says that if you believe that, you are an unbeliever and you are condemned according to the Quran. All right. Scriptures denied. 91. And they have not shown God his proper reverence when they said, God has revealed nothing to any human being. Say, O prophet. Who then revealed the book brought forth by Moses as a light and guidance for people, which you split into separate sheets, revealing some and hiding much? you have been taught through this Quran what neither you nor your forefathers knew. Say, O Prophet, God revealed it. Then leave them to assume or to amuse themselves with falsehood. Now, I missed a couple of footnotes. I don't want to miss those. So let me, footnote 279 says, for example, the companions of the prophet. So let me find that. I have 278. Hmm. Okay, 279. But if these pagans disbelieve in this message, then we have already entrusted it to a people who will never disbelieve in it. And it says, for example, the companions of the prophet, they're the ones that would never disbelieve. And then we have 280. It says, and they have not shown God his proper reverence when they said God has revealed nothing to any human being. Um, it says some Jews. The they there is some Jews. And so we can read it this way. And some Jews have not shown God his proper reverence when they said God has revealed nothing to any human being. So they give that justice. There you go. Let me read 92 and we'll finish up on that. This is a blessed book which we have revealed, confirming what came before it. So you may warn the mother of cities and everyone around it. Those who believe in the hereafter truly believe in it and guard their prayers. All right. Um, checking footnotes. All right. So I think if there's anything I'm establishing, it's a couple things. One, the Quran does not say the same thing that the Bible says. They are two different Jesuses. The Bible has one Jesus. The Quran has a different Jesus. The Bible has original sin. The Quran doesn't. The Bible, in the Bible, we're all born into iniquity. The Quran, we're born as moral and righteous beings, basically, that can do that which is right and please God, as if we were still Adam in the garden before he fell. Um, and that's what I've gotten so far. If I'm wrong, I'll admit that I'm wrong on that point. But the point is that they're not teaching the same thing. And for any Muslim to say this Quran is a continuation or a correction of the wrong path that the Christians went down, because see, they accept certain portions of the Bible. Then why don't you pick up the Bible and read it and find out? Test that theory. And once again, the last thing, Muslims claim that this Quran was brought down directly from God, from heaven, written in heaven, and given to Muhammad. Interesting, because that's the same claim that Joseph Smith makes about the Book of Mormon. So if you claim, well, this is a divine book because of that belief that it was handed to Muhammad verbally, directly from God himself, or an angel who was speaking for God, then why can't that also be true of Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon? And yet the Book of Mormon is in complete disagreement with the Quran, and the Quran is in complete disagreement with the Book of Mormon. So here's the final question. How do you know? Really, how do you know this is handed to Muhammad directly from God? I would ask the same of the Mormons. How do you know God gave direct divine revelation to Joseph Smith? How do you know God gave direct divine revelation to Muhammad? How do you really know that? This is different in that it's not said that it's written in heaven and just given, but that God spoke. If you go to Hebrews 1, it makes it real clear. God spoke through men, his words to be written down. And they're writing about things that happen on earth, actual historical events. They're writing about um, those things in their own human mind, the way they experienced them, and the books of wisdom were written down by these guys, but they were deemed to be blessed of God, or God divinely gave them that wisdom in their mind to write down. God divinely gave them the ability to remember those historical things, to write them down. And so, given by inspiration of God, God inspired their soul and their mind to write those things. And then God said, they're the words of the person who wrote them, the human that wrote them, and are also my words. So there's a difference in the claims there between the Bible and the Quran. All right. Thank you for watching. It's starting to get late and I got a lot I have to take care of. So I will continue on and we'll see you back here next time. And so I hope the best for everyone. And I don't know what else to say other than this. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I care enough about you guys to share this with you on YouTube. And I hope and pray that God blesses you with his truth. I'll see you next time here on the Seed Files.